A wanderer stumblet upon a strange rock by chance.
As he wiped away the surface dirt with his hand, the smooth texture felt just like gold. He quickly glanced over at his newly acquainted partner in the distance. After a moment's hesitation, Alan decided to share this discovery with him. Jack walked over to take a look. It did seem like gold. He then pulled out his lighter and started testing the material. The rock remained unchanged after the lighter's test. The two men stared at each other with shocked expressions. They immediately grabbed their tools and got to work. The more they dug, the bigger the gold became. They dug for a long time without reaching the bottom. Jack suggested trying brute force to see if they could move it, but even with all their strength combined, they couldn't budge it. They then found a rope, thinking they could use the car to pull the gold out. However, the rope couldn't withstand the strain. Furious and exasperated, Jack got out of the car. With no other option, they had to keep digging. Time passed, and dusk was approaching. Still, there was no bottom in sight. The experienced Jack told Alan to go find some matches. At night, they would light a fire to keep the desert wolves at bay. As night fell and the fire was lit, the two men finally burst into excited shouts. They never imagined that such a large gold mine would be hidden in the middle of the desert. If they could claim it, they would become rich overnight. But how to transport the gold became the only problem. They planned for one person to drive and find an excavator while the other stayed to guard the gold. Driving west for 2 days would get them to town. Then it would take a day to find an excavator and another 2 days to drive back. They roughly estimated it would take at least 5 days. During those 5 days, the person guarding the gold would have to fight a lonely battle in the desert. However, both of them wanted to stay and guard the gold. Jack felt he had wilderness survival experience. Previously, he had noticed Alan wandering. He thought if Alan stayed behind, it would be difficult for him to survive alone. Jack didn't want to keep the gold for himself, so he suggested Alan go find the excavator. But Alan insisted on staying. He wanted to be with the gold. Jack didn't argue further. The next day, he left Alan with as much food as possible and gave him their only satellite phone. Then he drove off to find an excavator. Under the scorching sun, Jack recovered the gold, set up a small tent, gathered firewood, and began his wilderness survival. But would Jack return on time as promised?
From the movie Gold.